it's building the skills necessary to have a healthy, connected relationship that works for you. All right, let's get into this email.
All right, so let's jump right in. All right. So, hello, Tara and EJ. I just wanted to let you guys know that I've really enjoyed listening to your podcast, and I've been wanting to reach out to share my story with you guys to see if I sound crazy. I definitely don't sound crazy. Like, this is what it is being in a relationship. I'm at a breaking point with my relationship that's been going on for 8 years. So, to break this story down for you, I met my husband back in 2016. And to be honest, he was definitely trying to be the cool guy when we first met and playing a little hard to get. I found it cute and funny because so was I. We were both in great shape, and that was one of the qualities I adored about him because he was into fitness just a lot like myself. He was a romantic man and would always plan these cute little dates. So we've heard that right before at the beginning. Isn't it fun?
We are so not who we really are.
And then here's the other part. We've heard this a lot.
We're our best self, I should say.
A year into our relationship, we got pregnant and had a baby. Our daughter's turning 6. And we've been living with his parents off and on throughout the years. Now, his parents and I do not get along because they were judgmental and they don't seem to respect me. My husband now doesn't speak up to them because we are living in their home and he doesn't want to cause an argument or them blowing it up. These past years have been incredibly challenging for myself because of our finances. Our daughter was diagnosed at 3 years old with autism. Now, that being said, our government gives funding for therapies and other types of support services, but we're on a waiting list that's over 8 years. Wow, that's tough. I just felt so unheard with my relationship that I'm constantly expressing my thoughts and emotions to my husband about how I need more support and I need more affection. He says he will do better and nothing seems to change. I'm constantly thinking about him and what he wants and what he would love. I know that I'm rambling, but I'm trying to put my thoughts into words. Our number one conversation is always about me not being treated the way I should be treated. It's affecting the way I treat him every day. My temper is short, and the moment he does something that he knows is going to upset me, it just ruins my entire day. I'm constantly working on myself in therapy and trying to figure out if I can even get back to when I first met him. On special occasions, I don't even get a card. I have to tell him, or he'll say I didn't know you wanted something, or we don't have the money to get stuff. I don't know what to say anymore. It's breaking my heart. So in 8 years, I've never received a gift. And it's not only about gifts, but he's not even really mentally involved in spending time with me unless it benefits him, i.e. sex. I find myself not interested in having sex because there's such a disconnect, and he doesn't just seem to understand. I come from a broken family. I think my biggest fear is for our daughter to live in separate homes. He made me happy once before. I've told him repeatedly I don't think this is meant for me anymore, as I've given him so many chances to show me that he cares. When he tries to give me a hug throughout the day out of random, I can feel myself pulling away. It feels so awkward or forced. I really hope you can shed some light on this for me.
Wow. I had a lot of goosebumps throughout listening to that email because there's a lot of grief in there. Grief around things not working out the way they thought they would. Grief around, the support around their child and the diagnosis there and the support they need there. The grief around not getting needs met. Around having these hopes and expectations, grief around that it used to be good, that there used to be these skills and love in the relationship and romance that's not there anymore. And then a lot of, I'm also hearing powerlessness, like I don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that I want to sort of start. It seems we're going to start with the woman who wrote the email.
Right.
I definitely want to spend some time though with the husband when we get to that. But I agree with you that there seems to be this like compounding, not getting what she needs, and it starts off in talking about the relationship, but like you said, to have a daughter who has some needs that, she needs some support. She needs probably some occupational therapy and other things that are proven to be really effective with a child that's on the autism spectrum, and not getting those needs met for her daughter must be just be really triggering. And
Well, it compounds. I'm sure it exacerbates what's already happening in the relationship.
yeah, and living in a house that's not her parents, so that need for autonomy and that need for your own space, and that need to just feel like empowered, that there's so much that this
Yeah.
person is dealing with, and just not getting some basic needs met.
Well, and not to mention the financial burden too,
Yeah.
right? When you're trying to just have shelter, clothing, and food, and you don't have those resources, it feels really bad.
Yeah, there's there's the Maslow's triangle of needs, right? And it's that
Maslow, yeah.
in order to have the most base level, we need just like, food, shelter, without those basic things, it's hard to take care of the things above that. It's hard to get into the emotions and the spiritual development and connecting deeply with your partner. That if you guys are like continuing to struggle on the most basic level,
Yeah.
it's hard to get to that, and both of you have to be facing that on some level. That like, he must be struggling also on some level with like his ability to provide.
Maybe. Here's the thing, because there's a lot of different issues within this email, from boundaries to communication to outside support and resources. But I think and motivation to change, right? Because it feels like the listener that sent this email is doing her own therapy. She's really motivated to have things be different, which is great, right? Change agent in the relationship. But it's also hard to say where her husband is at. Like, how motivated is he? Yes, he'll say he changes, but is he still like in contemplation mode, or where is he at? So it's hard to really assess from an email. But I would say for me, just hearing that, the number one thing for me is like setting boundaries in a home where they're living with his parents is going to be somewhat helpful to make the partners feel like we're going to be together in this, even though this is a situation that is not the most beneficial for us right now. Like, how can we do this in a way that's not going to harm the parents, right? That's going to be kind and gentle, but at least, setting those boundaries. Because I know in our relationship, even though we didn't have to live with your parents, but we were dependent on your parents for a lot of things. They were helping us financially. They were helping us with our children. And there were certain things that like you felt like you were in the middle, like boundaries that we couldn't really, have because we were dependent on them. So there's a shared similarity there.
Yeah.
And I just know when you were able to support me and start to develop boundaries around specific things, like it really helped our relationship. And it's important to know that even though you're living with that family, this idea of thirds, right? Like if your parents are now coming in between the two of you, that's automatically going to create some disconnection and some resentment and some confusion. And so really helping this, this woman's partner understand, like you can set boundaries in a really healthy way that are going to make your partner feel really safe.
Yeah.
Right. And then that resentment's not going to continue to grow, or that feeling of being judged.
I mean, it appears, and again, we're just in all of these emails, they're generally not written by both members of the couple. Mm-hmm. So we have to recognize we're hearing one perspective, but based upon that one perspective that we're hearing, it seems like the husband sort of has a big wake up call. That his partner is not happy, and is really struggling to be connected with him. And the first thing, like when I read this, like it was like the second, third time I read this email, what settled into me is that so many men are just completely disconnected from their emotions.
Mm.
So many men just didn't get any sort of, like upbringing, didn't get any reinforcement for recognizing what they're feeling and then having the ability to express it. And myself included. And I've been digging myself out of that hole for a while. And where it brought me eventually to the point of was like, if I'm not acknowledging all the things I'm struggling with, as far as just making it through in this world, if I'm denying those emotions and just trying to barrel forward, then my joy, my happiness, my ability to be sort of a fun and pleasant person to be around gets completely diminished. And that affected us for years. And I think probably with this guy that's a lot of what's happening is that he's struggling to take care of his family, and that's got to be hard. We don't know what the reasons are for that, but he's struggling to do that. He's got to probably have a ton of really complex feelings around that. He's probably not telling his partner. He's probably not opening up in a vulnerable way. So if he can't open up in a vulnerable way about probably the most important thing that he's dealing with right now, of course he's not going to be able to be affectionate. Of course he's not going to be able to, to think really beyond his own suffering and his own struggles.